Tourism is one of the biggest global industries in the world. Tourism has been the leading influence in showing people around the world what's to explore and discover, whether it be through a billboard, advertisement, or just a simple short YouTube video. In a post pandemic world, the impact of tourism has been on the rise. To help put some numbers into perspective, the United Nations World Tourism reports that in just the first 3 months of 2023, an estimated 235 million people from around the world has traveled internationally just simply for tourism related reasons like a vacation. With this sudden motivation for exploration also brings a huge interest in businesses creating attraction to catch the eyes of these wandering tourists. Turning anything into attraction is anything but an easy feat, as there are a ton to consider. There are factors to investigate on how a business in the tourist industry works, which involve statistics and financial challenges, business operations, challenges, marketing, and much more. To help us, I've reached out to a hotel manager in my local area to investigate all these factors through a tiny Q&A. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Now, let's just say we have an average Joe living in the middle of nothing known as New Brunswick. He wants to make his backyard a tourist attraction because he thinks it has the potential to become the next Stonehenge. Because if a bunch of rocks stacked on top of each other is an attraction, then your backyard could be even better. But where do we start? And what does it take to turn this land of grass into a captivating attraction? I reached out to a hotel manager in my area via email, and he had this short response to say. What strategies/methods are used to attract attention for the hotel? Being one step ahead of your competitors. Know your market, hire the right people, and be the place to be. An attraction is something that intends to attract people by appealing to their desires and tastes. If Joe's attraction wants to appeal to other people, let's first examine the area the backyard is in. What it's about, and what he could do to basically appeal the masses. Joe's backyard is in an area of Canada known as New Brunswick. Majority of travelers wish to come to New Brunswick for its rich scenery, forests, wildlife, and natural formations. To create an attraction that could resonate with everyone, Joe could use the scenery of New Brunswick to his advantage and turn his backyard into something that could add on to the province's scenery. Like form a garden or set a statue in the middle of his backyard. A good example of something like this is in Central Park in New York City. In New York City, it offers a place of hilly and grassy land for both New Yorkers and tourists to travel and explore called Central Park. However, a simple grassy land wouldn't be able to attract the attention of both New Yorkers and tourists. So what Central Park does is that it offers a multitude of recreational opportunities for everyone to explore, with top attractions such as the American Museum of Natural History, the Alice in Wonderland statue, the Ancient Bench, and Belvedere Castle. Central Park uses both new and old attractions with meaning that could attract it to the masses and publicize it towards everyone so that anyone could go explore it. With Joe's newfound knowledge with Central Park and how it could apply to his own backyard, he investigates what he wants to put into his backyard. It's good to know what your goal and vision for your attraction is before you have a final decision. So he envisions a beautiful park, something similar to the Butchart Gardens located in Victoria on the other side of Canada. So Joe decides to turn it into a natural park with a variety of different places to explore, such as a historical statue, Japanese garden, and a modern playground. With all these attractions now placed down, Joe needs his tourist business to gain attraction to everyone else to show that it's now here. For your attraction to gain traction, what most corporations like to do is put out different forms of advertisements. However, we'll be talking about them later. Right now, I'd like to talk about how companies used to present their attractions to everyone. Before digital media advertisements were a thing, most attraction corporations relied heavily on the word of mouth method, in which was relying on customers talking about your attraction in a more positive view towards other people. It wasn't really that viable, as attractions that had little offer couldn't compare it to other attractions that had much more money and were entirely just more phenomenal. To set a good example, in Arizona houses one of the biggest and grandest wonders of the world that the majority of us should know about, which is the Grand Canyon. Wherever you see pictures of the Grand Canyon, you should instantly know it by heart. Just take a good look at these 4 pictures alone that were taken of the Grand Canyon and just see how absolutely beautiful it is. I just lied to you there. One of these pictures is not exactly the Grand Canyon. Can you tell which one it is? That's correct. Or incorrect if you're like that. It was this photo. Located 200 kilometers north of the Grand Canyon holds another tourist attraction called the Wave. Both are in Arizona and are basically geographically close to each other. However, why does the Grand Canyon have much more attention and traction than the Wave, despite the Wave also looking super phenomenal? There are a bunch of factors to consider, like how the Wave's geographical location is really close to it, or its size, but the main reason behind it is how overshadowed it is compared to the Grand Canyon due to the word of mouth method. The area around the Grand Canyon is primarily known as just a phenomenal hole in the ground that other natural attractions like the Wave are just completely forgotten about, despite having this absolutely amazing, phenomenal landscape. However, as time goes on, the advertisements of these attractions are slowly evolving from the word of mouth method to billboards and now posters and now digital media advertisements. Up until we have today, these methods are now a far cry from what we've had before. Fast forward to the present day, and our methods of attraction advertising have undergone a digital revolution. The rupture of the internet, social media platforms, and immersive digital content have completely transformed how we discover and share attractions. Today, attraction can be virtually experienced through immersive videos, shared instantly across global networks, and accessed with a few taps on a smartphone. There are a ton of good examples of some good advertising. Like to take, for example, there's a Switzerland tourism advertisement where it takes advantage of its iconic scenery, whilst also bringing someone relatively famous to sponsor it, just to bring something new to the table. However, there is one notorious example we could potentially learn from when it comes to advertising its corporation. Ryanair is a budget European airline that is known for being a good alternative to other European airlines whilst remaining cheap. However, to cut down on its costs, it tries to dip down at other factors from its flight like its service, quality of life, food service, and its increased rate to try and upsell you, which has led itself into a pretty mixed reviews, while the majority are either average or just poor. However, the Ryanair advertisements page decides to run a TikTok to advertise their airline. Or what most corporations like to do with their advertisement TikTok account is go for a more serious approach by posting serious content. However, Ryanair decides to go for a more different approach. They decide to go for a more trendy route by posting memes about their airline, basically treating their airline as a joke. Now, some would consider this to be a childish marketing scheme to meet with its poor service. However, in hindsight, it turns out to be a lot more smarter than we think. In the past, Ryanair Airline has been going through some of the worst reputation when it comes to airlines. It has a lot of negative reviews and people generally hate it. Overall, some might say it was just memeable. What Ryanair did with its TikTok videos was it embraced its memeability and posted their own memes about their own corporation. Overall, this marketing campaign was predicted by analysis that it would fail. However, what happened was the exact opposite. Just after Ryanair started posting on TikTok, it was shown that their viewer engagement was 9.5% higher than the average TikTok engagement. Although it was still a bit low on activity, this is still a great example of exceeding expectations with marketing. Now that Joe has his attraction set and his advertising plans in order, now is a good time to set up the business. If Joe wants to keep the attraction sustainable and have room to improve as time goes on, he'll have to start up a business revolving around the attraction and try and make a profit off it. Running a tourist business is highly similar to running a normal business, like running a shop or a fast food place. Let's begin at how to run this business, what you should expect when becoming a business manager, how you can approach with this business, how you can make your business successful, and how you can ensure day-to-day operations. Now, what should we really expect when we become the manager for our business? This was a question I had asked to the hotel manager for my local area, and this is what he had to say about it. What advice do you have for someone aspiring to become a successful hotel manager? Learn all the areas of hotel operation, mentor by other great leaders, lead by example, and roll up your sleeves when needed. Taking inspiration from great leaders should be really looked on more often for becoming a great manager. In fact, there are plenty of managers that have taken these types of managerial styles and put them into certain categories. The hotel manager also has something to say about these management styles and how we can apply it towards Joe's business. What management style is most necessary when you're with your employees? There are two types of leaderships, micro or macro. It all depends on what the employee needs to be successful. As a leader, you are here to make your team shine at all times. Let's look into what these management styles are and let's see which one would fit for Joe's business. A micromanager is defined from the Investopedia website as a boss or manager who gives excessive supervision to its employees. A micromanager, rather than telling an employee what task needs to be accomplished and by when, will watch the employee's actions closely and provide a frequent criticism of what the employee's works and process. What this suggests is that the micromanaging style holds more towards of a close-eye approach on their employees and try and provide as much constructive criticism as possible. However, since it's Joe we're talking about, I don't believe that micromanagement would be the best option for him because he should be fully prioritizing on his business. So what I recommend for Joe to do is to let either one of his assistant managers or supervisors decide if they'd like to micromanage your staff. However, it may be best to look at the alternative for Joe. On the opposite side, there is a macro manager, and it's defined by the Investopedia as a type of boss or supervisor who takes more of a hands-off approach and lets the employees do their jobs with minimum direct supervision. This style of leadership is referred towards micromanagement, as previously said. I don't know why that's in the script. I hate this script so much. I'm sorry. Anyways, looking from the definition, we can see that micromanagement is the opposite of macromanaging, as it relies more on letting your employees roam free, letting them figure out what they could do on their own. As this might seem like a really good option for the employees, there may be some times where employees would need guidance from their leader, so a full-on macro manager would not be necessary. Which brings us back to what the hotel manager had said to us before, as he suggests a mixture of both and try and apply them whenever necessary. Like if there's trouble with an employee and they're acting all nilly-willy and breaking rules all the time, a style of micromanagement should be taken in place and look over the rule-breaking employee. And when there's an employee who's fully trained and fully aware on their position and their job, then a form of macromanaging should be used on them, as they already know the ropes. What should I expect for a hotel guest to feel when staying at a hotel? Business or pleasure, you should always provide a positive experience. Ensuring Joe's attraction is always providing a positive experience should be the biggest priority after setting up everything for his business. If he wishes to keep guests coming back to his attraction, then he should try to figure out ways of keeping people happy. One such method he could use is always being open to suggestions from both his staff and guests around the business. This is how the hotel manager also thinks how day-to-day operations are so smooth in his hotel. How do you ensure smooth day-to-day operation of the hotel? Number one, communication with all departments on a daily basis. Ensure all areas have the support they need. In conclusion, the journey to creating your own tourist-based business is anything but a walk in the park. By drawing inspiration from both his environment, like his home province, and looking at his competitors, all the way over to looking at different ways to manage his employees, Joe has created an attraction that's sure to get the attention from both guests and people looking for work in the tourist business, just like how Joe was before. Looking through advertising, advertising is one of the key things to gaining attraction for your place, acknowledging the significance of both traditional and digital approaches. Transitioning to business management, we've looked through ways of how most businesses could be run and how it could be applied for our tourist attraction. As the business takes shape, maintaining good communication with both the staff, the guests, and everyone else should be a top priority. Seeking continuous improvement through open communication with both staff and guests ensures a harmonious and successful day-to-day operation. In the world of tourism, this exploration serves as a roadmap for anyone who's entering the field. By looking into these factors of creating, managing, and sustaining these attractions, you'll always have somewhere to look back to if you ever need guidance. And remember, even with the insights I've just presented, always treat your business how you envision. Editor's note, this is the first time I've ever created this type of long-form content, so the quality might be a bit off from normal videos. So if you enjoyed it, please let me know. I'd also like to thank Hyatt Place Moncton Downtown for helping me answer these questions and guiding me around creating my own tourist business. I hope you all enjoy my little school project. And Miss Simmons, if you're hearing this, please give me a 4.